That's the unhappy news. If it's breaking news, it's Nile TV.
We're still following up events in Egypt as they unfold, and condolences on the terrorist attacks in North Sinai. The president cut short his visit to Ethiopia to return to the country, and he's following up closely the situation on the ground. We had more about news throughout the country. In Port Said, a terrorist brotherhood element was killed while he was planting a bomb at the power station. Elsewhere in Khanka, 4 people were injured, 1 critically, 1 an explosive device detonated. There has been also separately in Qalyubiyya, the security forces had chased and arrested 6 masked militants who tried to set buses ablaze. So this is the despicable face of terrorism, isn't it? I have always the honor and pleasure to have with me Mrs. Basanta Fahmy, a renowned economic expert. Mrs. Fahmy, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Yes, this is the despicable face of terrorism, because we took steps in order to achieve our roadmap. The army took severe steps, also severe blows against terrorist elements in Sinai. But this time we talked also to General Abdelrazik and General Halabi, and from their point of view, they feel that this time the despicable terrorist attacks are organized and foreign hands seems on. What do you think?
First of all, I would like to extend my condolences to all Egyptians, the people, the families. And yesterday it was too bloody. But anyway, in my personal opinion, this is a result of a long list of success for the Egyptian army. It's a sort of a revenge. They tried to get revenge. We understand, but we will continue.
A revenge also because we do have a joint economic conference.
It's a revenge because
they
feel that you are going on, nothing will stop you, no matter what they do. So they are trying to push it on a more bloody attitude or more bloody scenarios. Yes, it is organized by outside forces, we all know that. That's why we all talk about that Egypt is in a state of war, starting from the president of the country until everybody. We know we are in a state of war. And this type of war is dangerous and causes a lot of fatigue, because it's a long run, it is not organized, and you can expect it on war, like you just mentioned, in many places. But it can never continue forever. No groups can beat a country. We're a country, we have an army, we have a police, we have people.
Right.
So yes, they are annoying us, if you wish. They're creating troubles, they're creating problems, but they can never be, as I say always, they can never succeed in changing us or changing our opinion or changing our attitude towards the future. Egyptian people have decided to build their country, no matter is the price, because the choice is difficult. What is the choice? Is to give up? Impossible. Impossible. You could lose your country. So it is very dangerous from their part to think like this. We will never give up, because the price is the country. We will never give up our country.
Yeah, and the Egyptian people, thank God, are fully aware of their despicable game. I mean, of the terrorists.
Everybody is aware.
We find them behind their army, behind their police, in concerted effort. How can we support the army and the police at this juncture?
First of all, when I say army and police, they come from Egyptian families. They have to support them. They're our sons, brothers, sisters. You see, from the Egyptian society, they are not foreigners, they are not mercenaries. So everybody is supporting from the social side. But again, we have to support them economically, because that type of war is a long war, and it is costly and it's expensive.
Right.
Because it hits left and right and it hits the economy. And I have noticed lately that they've changed a little bit their style.
Their tactics.
Yeah, their tactics, from going into demonstrations to hitting on the economy.
Yeah.
Meaning hitting on the railway stations, the railways themselves, the economy, some shops, shopping mall, electricity.
Yeah.
They are trying to make, that's a new tactic, and that's why it's not the role of the army and the police alone. Infrastructure.
Yeah.
So this is the role of all of us.
Yeah,
We
the
all
idea of how the game has changed
to protect.
and protect.
And you have a shop, you protect your shop. I have a bank, I protect the bank. There is a ministry, protects the ministry. So now it is not only the role of the army and the police, because they're going to hit another, like they're in the taxi, for instance. Everybody has to protect his own property. Of course, the army and the police will play a major role, but we have as well,
Go with them hand in hand.
definitely, and a big role on us. For instance, like I hear all the time, we need to have cameras all the way. We have to have people who could really be alert of what could happen. You see something wrong, you immediately tell the police or the army. So the Egyptians,
This is awareness of what is going on.
the Egyptians are fighting the war, not the army and the police.
Well, the continuation of the roadmap. The terrorists try definitely to block the road. They know quite well, they will not succeed, but they know quite well that we had undertaken steps to achieve the goal. And it seems, of course, there are efforts in vain here or there, as you've mentioned, Mrs. Fahmy. Economically, how can we protect our country and not to let those despicable acts like change the image?
Block the roadmap, no. Delay it, possibly. This, the delay will be our decision, not their decision. We may decide to delay some steps. There's nothing wrong in that. We're in a state of war. Everybody knows that. So we may take some new tactics. And I say always, even if you delay a little bit, there's nothing wrong. But when we do it, we have to make sure that we stand on solid grounds. On the economic side, definitely, all the support must be given to the army and the police during this period. And that's why I am asking always that we have a government of war, which could be from 16 to 18 ministers, decrease the spending, especially in unnecessary spending. You have seen some steps taken by the central bank recently. He has to take some other steps. We are allowed when we are in a state of war and a state
What
of...
other steps in your point of view?
Like for instance, the Ministry of Supply. They should take steps, meaning they have to be responsible for bringing all the necessary food and medicines, and food as well, primarily the medicine will leave it to the Ministry of Health, to the Egyptians themselves, meaning they don't use brokers, and I always talk about this. You can as well, during a 6 months period, because you are in a state of emergency, to stop the import of some non-necessary stuff, to protect your reserves. We have a critical level of foreign reserve. This is very critical. We have to protect that. So the central bank has to take some measures with the banks to limit as much as we can for a period of 6 months unnecessary imports. Because our reserves have to be enough to pay to cover 3 things, and at least for a year period, because that type of war will take a long time.
Yeah, we'll be back to this point in thorough details. Let's talk to His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, head of the Arab Investors Union. Ambassador Bayoumi, well, it's condolences definitely for the lives that has been lost, but not lost in vain. They are defending the country, and this despicable act of terrorism in North Sinai as you see it. And do you think this is because we took steps towards achieving the roadmap, and we do have the world coming to Egypt and Sharm el-Sheikh for the economic conference?
Of course, my first impression is sort of sadness. I feel very sad really, but I don't want this to affect my spirit at all, neither as myself or my countrymen. We lived days like that when Sadat was in the same critical situation when they killed the Sheikh al-Dahabi, and we lived it. And investment will go anywhere, even in countries in a state of war. But of course, you will receive a different type of investment. So we have to be very careful. I think that this is the time in order to declare, every one of us, that we reject this, that we give the government all the necessary support in order to stop this violence, and I hope we can control it in a short period. But I don't believe that this would affect our aims and our to attract foreign direct investment, because an investor is talking about a 6 months period of investment. He's talking about the longer period, the long-term investment conditions. So many friends who are really willing to come to Egypt and invest already made their decision. But of course, I hope that this evil incidents which affect our daily life would stop as soon as possible.
Mr. Ambassador, concerning the Arab Investors Union and measures that has been undertaken, and at the same time in a sense of preparation for the economic conference.
As a matter of fact, Arab investors and the investment in the Arab world is coming to a much better situation since the international monetary crisis in 2008. Because as the Prince of Kuwait said it rightly in the conference, in the summit in Kuwait, that because we have experienced large losses in the international field, you will realize that starting from 2009, Arab investment is coming more and more to the Arab world. The problem is how you are able to absorb foreign investment. It's not a matter that they bring the $1,800 billion invest abroad, because we do not have the ability to absorb it all. So it is two-way solution, that we have to enlarge our ability to absorb more and more flow of money, foreign direct investment. At the same time, we have to make the investor satisfied when he comes to Egypt. And I assure you that Arabs, I was recently twice in Kuwait and twice in Emirates, they are coming to Egypt to invest, of course, but they tell you that we come to Egypt